Hello friends, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for joining me today. With this video, I just feel like I had some things to get off my mind here. Like after the Emily Awards, I still felt like I had certain things that I just use all the time. I don't really talk about a lot in like an everyday makeup video, but they're things that I absolutely love. They may not have fallen into a certain category in the Emily Awards. Some of these things I've talked about for years. Some of them I've never spoken about in a video before. So I hope this is helpful to you if you're needing one of these particular things. It's not super makeup oriented. It's more like other kind of personal care type things. Daily use hero products, okay? So a few examples of things like this that did get mentioned in my Emily Awards: the e.l.f. tweezers, my Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair. While I might switch up moisturizers that I use, I am using that stuff like every single night and I think it's helped. The Herbal Essences Arabica Coffee Shampoo. Wonderful shampoo if your hair is prone to getting oily and likes to be kind of just flat and weighed down by that. Those are things that might make sense to put in this video, but they were like recently mentioned Emily Award winners. Now let's move on to some other things that didn't get mentioned. I had asked on Twitter recently, what do I do for my dry hands? Like all the hand washing plus the dry like outdoor air that I'm out in sometimes. My hands were just getting so like dry on the palms and cracked right here on the knuckles. And I got a ton of suggestions on Twitter, like maybe more feedback than I've ever gotten to any question I've asked on there. And a really popular answer was this Okeeffes working hands. And I got some, and I mean, this actually did work. It did the job. Other things that I put on at home, like any other run-of-the-mill hand cream that I had, didn't work. Also, the CeraVe moisturizing cream, some of you recommended that, and that's great generally speaking for like maybe a dry patch on the face or dryness elsewhere on the body, but it was no match for the knuckle area, like just hard, cracked, dry skin. But this stuff completely takes care of it. It does not feel greasy. You can have this on, you can work your phone, you can work your computer and not feel like you're getting a bunch of residue on there. Belle has had really dry hands also. I've used it on her and it's helped a bunch. So if you're having an extremely dry skin problem, get some of this, use it a few times a day, and probably by the end of that first day, you're gonna be like, wow, that's great. It's just like a white tub of cream. You can get it on Amazon. I think I got this like in my Kroger grocery order, so it's not hard to find, but I'll link to it below if you need some help. So we go from a new find to something I've been loving now for years, and it's the Dove Dry Spray Invisible Deodorant, no white marks on 100 colors. I can sweat, y'all. I run hot. I've said it before. I remember my mom would tell me she'd take me as a really little kid to some of my sister's volleyball games, and just like being in a gym, I would be sitting there on the bleachers just sweating. I've run hot for a long time, and I don't feel like I can be satisfied with just any deodorant. When I started using this, and I think it might have been under Tiffany D's recommendation years ago, started using this. It does come in different scents, but you want to make sure it says the no white marks on 100 colors. It's honestly the best deodorant. I will sometimes run out of this and I'll have to use what Bub uses. It's like a Degree for Men type stuff, and it does not work as well as this. I've told him when he runs out sometimes, like, if you try that Dove, you're not gonna be going back. Like, that will really help you. But I love it. It really doesn't leave any marks on your clothes or any residue of any kind, but it completely, like, keeps you smelling good. Keeps you smelling good. In the latter half of 2020, I kind of started switching up what I was doing with the morning micellar water. So I sit down here and, you know, that's kind of like my face wash, like cleaning the face sort of step. I use a micellar water instead of washing my face at the sink. In case you're wondering, when I shower, I usually do that at nighttime. But anyways, I had been using the Garnier, like a hydrating rose one. I'd used probably most of a large bottle of that in the first part of the year. I was just feeling like my skin was breaking out a little bit more, so I made a change and I used something from Laneige. I got it from Sephora. It's the Vitamin Brightening Cleansing Water. As you can see, I've used a decent amount of that, and I may still come back to this. I don't think this is a problem product, but I will say I feel like my skin has been its best using this. This is the IT Cosmetics Miracle Water Anti-Aging 3-in-1 Glow Tonic. It says Skin Brightening Radiance Booster, Anti-Aging Treatment Essence, and Skin Softening Micellar Cleanser. So I've been using this just first thing in the morning on a cotton pad, and I feel like my skin has just been behaving its best when I've been using this. Has anybody else been using this? I mean, it's been out. It's not really a new It Cosmetics product, but I feel like it's working really well with my skin. You know, maybe it's just my skin type. I am kind of normal, verging on a little more dry right now. I don't know if there's something in this that is maybe being a little more friendly to dry skin, could be, but I like it and I use it every single morning. Now, talking about nighttime makeup removal, been talking about these since the beginning of time on my channel. These are the Equate hydrating face wash cloths, and they are a dry cloth, but you get them wet in your sink and they take off everything. They do not irritate the face at all. They do not irritate the eye area, takes off all mascara, takes off everything. Your skin feels really clean afterwards, but not in a tight way. They just, I mean, when you find something that works with your skin and has over such a long-term period, and you also wear a good amount of makeup per day, so you want that all off. I mean, it's better than any just pre-moistened wipe, better than any cleanser I've used. These are just the bomb. If you can't get the Equate kind, get the Olay kind. Olay will make actually several different versions. They'll make one that's kind of like the hydrating face wash cloths from Equate. They'll make one that has more of a scrubby texture on it, like a deep pore cleansing type. It just kind of depends on where you're shopping as to what kind of variety you'll get. But I really think the Equate ones are great, and you're gonna get two, I believe, 30 packs in one box. I'm gonna give a shout out to my wet brush that probably has some hair in it right now, but I love the wet brush. I like the mini wet brushes. I feel like this gets through my hair the easiest, not just after a shower or after being in the pool or whatever, like I'm in the pool these days, but you know what I mean. I just love it as an everyday brush. The little ones are so handy as well. I feel like it gets through the girls' hair well, like after their bath time, I'll spritz a little, like, what do I have now? Johnson & Johnson detangler type stuff on them, and then just go through it with a wet brush. It's more gentle somehow, but yet I think more quickly effective, like gets through tangles easier. So big fan of the wet brush. Again, pretty easy to find. I know I've seen them in Walgreens, Walmart, you name it. Longtime favorite that continues to be a favorite would be Tresemme hairspray. Like anytime I need just a little spritz on what I'm doing, sometimes I'll put my hair up in a bun and it might feel like kind of a loose, not so good bun, but if I put a little Tresemme up there, sometimes that can be all it needs to just stay a little bit better. It's the Tresemme Tray 2. It's got the 4 on it for the hold level, and yeah, it's just the best. Other ways I'll use it beyond just like the finishing touch on a look would be sometimes if I'm putting in some Velcro rollers and I've just gotten the hair on there, and then I'll give a light spritz with this, and I think that kind of helps hold curl better. Another kind of funny hair thing that I've just come to accept here, if I want to use dry shampoo, okay, we've talked about my greasy hair sometimes that I think really is a big issue right after that postpartum period, like those 6 months after baby, but my scalp just wants to produce a lot of oil, and so you might think that dry shampoos would be a good friend of mine, but a lot of them really are not. I feel like I get so much just extra residue. It doesn't help me. It doesn't volumize. It doesn't lighten the hair. One that has been pretty good has been the Batiste in the brunette dark tone, but the ultimate best thing is simply baby powder. Take the baby powder out from under my sink, tap a little in the palm of my hand, work it in, just work it in to the point where you're not seeing that white. Obviously it's white powder. I've got very dark hair, but it's honestly not that hard to work it in first with my fingers and then like a brush through, and that takes care of the oil better than darn near anything else, any styling product. So I just thought I'd throw that out there if you feel like no dry shampoo is suited for you. Here's one little makeup thing that I use all the time and I never talk about because it just stays downstairs in the bathroom, like before I leave the house, if I go out on a walk, just around the house, want to throw something on my lips. I've been using this Glossier Generation G in the shade Like. It's this berry shade that I have on right now. Guys, it's a matte tinted lip balm, okay? So your lips look like pillowy because it is matte, but it gives you this really pretty berry color, see? And I still love my Nivea Blackberry, which is more like shiny and whatnot, but this kind of stays a little better and it gives me that same satisfying color. But does anybody see what I mean about pillowy? Like there's kind of just a fullness that the lips seem to have with this on there, and it smells like rose. Like soft, gentle, real rose. I love that. I think that's a great product. The kind of thing I wouldn't mind checking out in some other colors. I got 3 other things. You might call them personal care. I don't know. My coffee cup warmer, okay? I use this every day that I come up here. I sit my cup on a little Mr. Coffee cup warmer. It's no frills. You just switch it on, sit your cup on it. It would have made a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, but if you need something else for somebody, like, get that. It's so nice, especially for people who just are always drinking coffee in a certain location. You know, it's great up here because, like, my kids aren't coming in here. I'm not worried about anybody touching the little hot plate type thing. And it completely keeps the coffee so warm. It just functions perfectly. I love the thing. Also, beverage related, my water jug. Okay, I have this Hydromate water jug. You want to talk about consistent use. I think it was around the start of the pandemic was when I was coming off of my migraine situation and realizing, okay, staying really well hydrated can help me out so much in the headache department. So I never stopped drinking tons of water out of this thing. And I had at first had like a great big gallon one, and the gallon just took forever to fill up at the start of a day and just very heavy to lug around. The half gallon just feels a little bit more like, okay, take it where I need it. It's not like insanely heavy, doesn't take as long to fill up every day. So what I do is I fill it up at the start of the day, and then by somewhere in the late afternoon period, I get down to the bottom. So I'm moving at a little bit faster pace than the little marks, the schedule on the bottle, but that's okay. I don't really mind. I just know that by about late afternoon, I should be nearly to the bottom. Then I refill, and I try to get it most of the way down before bed. So I'm probably not taking down a full gallon every day, but I'm getting close to it. Also, I really like the silicone straw that I use. I've been using that one. I just, wash it, keep using it again and again. Nice big straw, very durable, just sticks right down in it. And you can close the top. Like if you're going to be taking it somewhere and you want the top sealed, you can do that. But my gosh, that jug just, if I were just relying on a random glass of water here or there, I don't think I would ever take down enough. But that keeps me on track. Even if you're not following the time frame that it gives you, when you really get in a habit with it, you just sort of know by a certain time of day that needs to be down, and then I fill it back up again. And lastly, my Fitbit. Love this guy. I was looking up on my computer last night. When did we actually get these? Bub had his for quite a while before me, like I want to say months before. And he'd been doing steps, and he'd be telling me here and there like, oh, I got 12,000 steps today or whatever. And over the spring and summer, I was out doing a lot more walking, getting outside, being active more. And I just thought, out of curiosity, I want to know how many steps I'm getting. So I got this really basic one. I think it's called the Inspire. I got it from Best Buy. You just tap on the screen. It's like a little touch screen. It goes between steps and like distance walked and your active minutes through the day. It gives you the day's date, and it always is showing you the time. But the big thing I'm interested in is the step count. Bubs does a little bit more. It'll tell him like flights of stairs and different things like that. You get an app on your phone and you can check it there, and that's where you can sort of monitor if you're doing a challenge with somebody, if you're trying to compete. We did a little bit more of that early on, but now we're just like, we know we want to get 10,000 steps every day. That's the goal we set. And according to my records, I got this on the 9th of August, and the very next day we started doing the 10,000 steps, and I've been getting 10,000 steps a day since August 10th. I have gotten them every day. The only day Bub missed was like the day he got his wisdom teeth out. I am really proud of myself because I have not kept up a fitness thing with that kind of consistency maybe ever. Or not since back in like my cheerleading days when I had certain workouts I did and stuff. It's great because there are a lot of days where you can fill up your steps without even thinking about it, especially with kids. You're just moving around a lot. There are a lot of days where it comes easy, but there are some days where we get to the end and we're like, gosh, still need a couple thousand steps, and we walk around our house. Like we have a loop, that kind of goes through our living room and out through the bar room and the kitchen, and we'll just walk, if we're watching something, when it gets to a commercial or we just decide to take a break, we get up and we walk some laps, and that fills up our steps for the day. But we make sure we get there every day, and I think when you're doing it with somebody else, it helps that accountability. Like if it were just me, maybe I would hit like 8,500 in a day, and then I'd kick back and say, gosh, I don't really feel like taking any more steps. But he's around, and then I'm like seeing him getting his steps. Well, gosh, I gotta get it. You got that accountability thing. And we both realize like how helpful that is, because you're kind of, in a sense, you're competing a little bit, because like on the weekends, we'll really be like checking, like, are you ahead or am I ahead? Without fail, he takes so many trips to Lowe's on the weekends these days, especially he's got some woodworking projects he's doing. And I swear that guy lets loose in a Lowe's and he's coming back with like 10,000 steps. And I'm like, what? I've got all the steps to make up. Anyway, I love my Fitbit. Now would be a good time of year if you're thinking about New Year's resolutions and just activity level. It's a nice thing to have. I even got them for the kids, and with them, they're just so freaking active. We just learned, like, they're nonstop all day. They're gonna beat us all the time. They're always at a huge step count. But for me, this really has been useful. I wear it every single day. And by the way, I only have to charge it once a week. Usually it's like Tuesday nights. It gives me a little like exclamation point on there, and it'll tell you when there's like 15 to 18% battery life left. So it's not totally dead by the time they're telling you should charge it. So I just leave it on that charger overnight, and then I am wearing it all the rest of the time. So that's my story, guys. These are these things that I just use all the time that I thought needed a mention in a video, needed a little appreciation. Might be the kinds of like little problem solving products that you could really use as well. Thank you so much for your time, for your love, for your viewership over the past year. It just always blows my mind that people will choose to take some time out of their day to turn on one of my videos and just watch and enjoy. I thank you so, so much for that. I constantly see people in the comments section letting their light shine to me, to each other. It's such a beautiful thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.